People are leaving Vancouver in massive droves, and it's not just housing affordability that is making people move in other locations, whether it is northern BC, whether it's the island, other provinces, or out of Canada as a whole. There's a lot of things going on incorporated here in Vancouver as to why people are leaving. I see this on a daily basis with a lot of my clients. I'm going to walk you through in this video why they are leaving, where they are going, and what are some of the options for you if you are feeling the same sort of way. So we know that over the last couple years, essentially since COVID, Vancouver as a whole has taken a turn downward in most people's eyes. Crime definitely has gone up. Affordability hasn't skyrocketed, but with these increase in interest rates, it has made things a lot more difficult for a lot of these clients. So when things have started to change, and with a lot of the demographic that I work with, young families, people that are still wanting to grow their family, other options and other areas start to look a lot more lucrative. Obviously, with what you can get here in Vancouver compared to a lot of other municipalities, or if you want to go outside of the Lower Mainland or out of province, you can definitely be completely mortgage free. I've had clients in the last year or so liquidate outside of Vancouver and go completely mortgage free out into Abbotsford, get some property, have a detached home. And this client in particularly, their wife didn't have to work anymore. So that is something that is very advantageous for people who are looking to grow their family and to have flexibility and financial flexibility. We know that with inflation that's gone up, the job market isn't as good, unemployment is going up. There's a lot of instability in the marketplace. So a lot of clients that I've been looking at and working with in Vancouver, unfortunately for myself, are moving out of Vancouver in a big way. And it makes, the role of a realtor has definitely changed. Before in real estate, you'd have clients and you transact with them 4 or 5 or 6 times. Of my last 5 transactions, 4 of them have been one and dones, people that are in the Vancouver market and they are out. When it comes to, the affordability, we've kind of covered that in terms of why people are wanting to do that. And like I mentioned, I had that client move out to Abbotsford in the Valley. I've had multiple clients move to the island. Nanaimo in particular has been a hot spot for those young families or growing families where you can get a detached home under 1.5. So even if you have a decent sized condo or townhouse, you can have a significant upsize. I have a beautiful townhouse in Fairview right now in a great location. And another part of this is because with Vancouver being such a transplant city and there's not too many people who are born and raised here in Vancouver, as these families are growing, as the need for childcare, and with childcare in Vancouver as a whole is so expensive, the need to get back to family is something that is driving people as well. Wanting to get back to, like I said, I had a client, they moved back to Kimberley, clients moving to the Okanagan to be closer to family, be closer to the roots. And yes, they will miss the city, but with that flexibility and family flexibility, that is also something that is pushing these people outward. And one thing I think is one of the larger things with this that is really helping people decide that is the overall safety here in Vancouver. With what has been going on with these random attacks, we had that horrible mass casualty incident a couple weeks ago at the Lapu Lapu Festival, and people aren't feeling secure in Vancouver anymore. They don't want to live, especially in the downtown core. If people are still deciding to want to live in Vancouver, they are wanting to cross the water. They want to get on the other side. They want to go south in some of these other communities so that they feel a little bit more protective. I know for myself, my wife and my family, we were living in Olympic Village, and it got to a point where, people were a lot more aggressive. There are a lot of SROs, single room occupancy buildings in and around that area in Mount Pleasant and across Vancouver. And usually when those are situated, there is higher levels of crime. There are people that are a lot more agitated. There's mental health issues, drug issues. And it got to a point where my wife didn't even feel safe taking the garbage down into the parkade anymore because people were breaking in there, and my wife didn't want to take her dog out at night either. So that is quite problematic. I was talking to a client just the other day who was in Miami, and how Miami was just so extremely clean and safe, and how it's a completely different environment. And another location such as Dubai, I've had friends and colleagues head over that way, and clients as well. And just, a completely stark contrast to what Vancouver used to be, completely safe, completely clean, and we don't have that anymore. So that is another big reason why people are leaving Vancouver in droves, is the safety, the cleanliness factor as well. It is not like it used to be. And for myself, I've been living in Vancouver since 2010, and I noticed a massive shift just after COVID where things drastically changed here. So if you are in a position in terms of looking what else is out there, you do have a ton of options in terms of property value. You know, we've highlighted the affordability. So whether you're looking in other provinces such as Alberta is another popular one as well. Another issue here is just tax and entrepreneurs. A lot of entrepreneur colleagues and friends of mine have also left down to the States just for tax purposes. Taxation here in BC is quite high. It's not very friendly for those who are wanting to be entrepreneurs because of that. So there's all these drivers here in terms of overall affordability, safety issues, childcare issues, tax issues. And another driver for why people are not wanting to stay in Vancouver or not liking Vancouver is also the rental market here. The rental market has really softened. A lot of my clients have been of the renter variety, mom and pop style investors who maybe have 1, 2, maybe 3 rentals. And because of how the rental market has also shifted, not the best quality of tenants, having issues with tenants in terms of having to go to arbitration, properties being damaged, properties not being cared for. And overall, with all these increases in property taxes, interest rates, the landlords are not getting the return of investment. And that has been another reason why we've seen a lot of these rental units come back to market and landlords wanting to exit out of Vancouver and are selling a lot of their rental properties because of the rental conditions. And I think with all these different factors, we know that, and I've highlighted it in previous videos, we're at the highest level of inventory that we've seen in over 10 years, depending on the segment. Especially the condo market is quite full right now with inventory. Landlords do not want to be landlords anymore, so they are pushing all those products to the marketplace. Short-term rental, which was a viable option with Airbnb, the city of Vancouver has put a curb and a stop to that. So that was another reason why people are not liking the Vancouver real estate market for the investor side of things. We've already covered the safety issues, the tax implications, the childcare implications, and overall, when you see these other municipalities and other provinces and even out of country, what they can offer your family. And these are some of the reasons why people are not staying in Vancouver. And I know that there was a little bit of an uptick in terms of population growth, just over 1% in BC, but it's going to be interesting. And I think the province and the cities have to do a lot more, especially in Vancouver and these local municipalities, to keep people here, because we are losing local talent, which is not a good thing. We are losing entrepreneurs and small businesses. We are losing people who are great members of society as well as their families. And those people are going to be taking up the mantle in these other places. Overall, this is not a great look for Vancouver as a whole. And I honestly don't blame them. I have a lot of these same questions and fears within the city that I live in, Vancouver, that I do truly love. As I mentioned, we did feel some of those safety concerns, so we moved further east, outside of Olympic Village, outside of Mount Pleasant, and where we are now is in a really nice pocket that we do feel quite safe. But we have childcare issues too. There's not enough childcare options here either. $10 a day spots fill up very quickly. They're hard to find. So people are paying extra mortgage payments to be able to help with childcare. So we need help with that from our city officials here, provincially, federally, locally. And in terms of, taxation and some of these other metrics here, I think all of these things can turn, but it's going to be a slow roll in being able to firm up that position. And I think continuing on, there's more people that are wanting to get out, have better opportunities for their housing, for their families, for that flexibility than there is in terms of moving into the city. And here as a Vancouver realtor, that's not the greatest thing to hear. I do think it's a beautiful city. And I think when these things can change, if they can change, and getting back to the city that we once were is obtainable, but there has to be some massive policy changes, because I feel, just like so many people, the city is starting to get out of control, and would love to hear your thoughts on what you feel, how Vancouver is being run, how Vancouver is to live in. And for those who have moved out of Vancouver, what is your experience like now that you've been outside? Do you regret moving out? Has it been the best thing ever? Would love to hear from you on those points as well. But until the next video, I will talk to you later.